D2DNY, Real World HVAC Simplified. And now in this video, I'll be showing you guys how to troubleshoot. I have a whole LG mini split, and I'm going to show you guys how to troubleshoot the compressor. The compressor is grounded, and I'm going to show you how to troubleshoot it, right? So here's the model. It's R410A, the refrigerant. If you're wondering, it's there. And here's the wiring diagram or schematic. So if you don't have access to it, you can pause the video and then you can thank me later. All right. So let's get into the troubleshooting of the compressor. So I have my meter right here, and my meter is set up to the ohm scale right there in continuity. All right. I also have my jumper or test wire, jumper wire or test wire with a clip. I have it clipped onto one end of my meter lead, or one of my meter leads, and I have the other clipped to the compressor terminal. All right, you can see that. And I did that because, you know, typically I'll take my meter lead and go directly to the terminal, but because I need to hold the camera with one hand and then show you guys what's going on, I need to have one hand free. Okay, so let me zoom back out. All right, so if you want to know how to, this is how the compressor looks without, this unit has two compressors, by the way. There's one compressor here, A, and the back compressor B. Compressor B is grounded. And what the symptom of this is, basically it tripped the circuit breaker downstairs. So in the circuit breaker panel, the circuit breaker was tripped, and that's the symptom, right? Yeah, that's Queens, New York in the background. Long Island City, Queens, if you're wondering. I'm in Queens right now. That's New York City back that way. Okay. Anyway, back to the video. So yeah, so it's gonna trip the circuit breaker because it's grounded. Like it's a dead short to ground. It's only getting about 16 ohms to ground. All right, so I have the wires off. These are the wires that was on it. As I showed you below the cap. Where's the cap? I don't know where the cap is, but it's also relevant. All right, so let me go ahead and I'm gonna do my continuity test. My meter is already in setup. So if I touch it right now to the ground, chassis ground, that compressor is grounded. You turn it on, and it's gonna go boop. It's gonna spark and trip the breaker. All right. If I go to the pipe, copper piping, same thing. All right. If you want to go to the chassis of the compressor, the body, not getting here it is. Not getting a good connection here. Let me screw this back in. Here you go. So wherever you go to chassis ground, that means the wire. The power wire goes into the compressor, and when it goes in, the winding is touching to the casing. That's why it's doing that. All right, so it's grounded. Need to replace the compressor. In this case, you're supposed to replace both compressor because it's one circuit, and together you should replace them. You can do one if you want, however, but it's not recommended. Also replace the capacitors as well. Another tip for this unit, this old LG mini split unit, is that when you turn it on, this is the indicator light up here, LED, and you know it might not light up because there's a blown fuse on this main control board, right? It's dangling. It was supposed to be in here. I have it removed, but this right here is the fuse, right? Let me zoom in for that. There it is. It's 250 volts. Right at 250 volts at 15 amps. So this right here is your fuse. This little black round thing here, that's your fuse. So if you're wondering, well, why my board is getting power and it's not lighting up, I'm not seeing any light, my LED is not lit, well, the reason could be because you have a blown fuse, among other things, but the simplest thing to check is the fuse, right? Now, this fuse you see right here, if you take your test lead in continuity and resistance reading and you go from here to here, right? Or from, these are the leads of the fuse, one right here and one right here, these two. This right here and this right here is the same strip, as you can see. But if you take a test lead between these two, if it doesn't give you continuity or rings out and beeps, that means if it shows you overload, open circuit, the fuse is burnt. Now, if that's the only issue and you're really savvy, you can take your soldering iron, if you know the solder, and just soldering two pieces of wire, right? One piece over here, one piece here, and one piece on the other side over here, right? This entire strip right here is the other side of the fuse, other side of the fuse right here. You solder one over this side and one over this side, and then you can install an equivalent fuse if you're savvy like that with a soldering iron. If you tech savvy like that, you can do that. And if that's the only issue, you're good to go. All right. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. I upload videos on a weekly basis.